Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to yet another video. Today we are back. It's been a while, a couple months, right? Beard. Probably feels a lot different. But today we're going to be making a video about some cool, interesting tech stuff that I own and the stories behind them. I figured that this would be a interesting enough video to make for my subscribers, my supporters, because I don't want to try to go back just to gotta get the most views, gotta make sure it's good to make content that other people are going to discover, because clearly I'm making the content and I want people to watch it. I want people to see what I'm doing, but this one I'm just going to be pretty chill, make some content for the people who have been here, been supporting me, and hopefully we'll be back on track doing this more often, weekly, maybe even more if I can get to that point. But yeah, so I've got all this stuff here on the table, and I'm going to go through it in the interesting stories. Now none of this stuff is in my PC currently. Some of that does have some interesting stories. Most of actually what's in my PC is interesting, because most of it, I probably bought one or two things just normally, how you buy it off Amazon, just normal price, normal everything. Pretty much everything in there I got some sort of deal or some sort of interesting thing on. A lot of it's used. If you guys want me to go over that stuff, if you enjoyed this video, you want to see that as well, which is probably going to be pretty similar. Hit that like. Get a bunch of likes on this video. I'm not going to set a goal or anything, but if it gets a lot of likes per views, then I'll make sure that I make that video right away. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into things. So I'm going to start off with the things that have the least amount of story, and then work up to the most interesting things. So I guess that starts off with this little thing right here. Yeah, clearly definitely deserves the first spot. It's just a hard drive magnet. Nothing really particularly interesting or special. I just disassembled the hard drive, took this out. So I used to use this to keep track of my screws, and I still use it to pick things up. If I have a bunch of screws scattered all over, I can run it across the ground and it'll pick up all the screws. They're very strong magnets, pretty useful if you have a dead hard drive. Suggest getting one of these. So yeah, that's the least interesting thing right out of the way right now. Okay. What do we do next? I think I can go with this right here. This is a very cool thing, but it's not that special. Actually, no, this has a pretty good story, but we'll do it anyways, right? So this is a motherboard. You've probably seen it in a few of my videos if you've watched all of my videos, most notably in the oh man, I forget the name, but it was the silver and purple mod that I did. If you want to go check that out, that's why these are painted silver. It also just fits better in general with everything, because these used to be a sort of camo green color, the original motherboard. But yeah, I painted, so I gave it a, excuse me, I gave it a custom silver paint job, and I think it looks pretty snazzy. It's a nice motherboard anyways. It's old X58 platform, which is about 10 to 12 years old. And this was the original high-end, the first sort of high-end i7 sort of Core series platform for Intel, which you can put Xeons in, which is a pretty good value. The only issue is the motherboards are really expensive, because they're pretty rare. On eBay, these go for around $150 per board, and then you get your CPU for $20. Which is really not exactly worth it in my eyes. But I did get this motherboard, and I got an i7, 24 gigabytes of RAM, and a Noctua cooler for $90 all in all. So that was a pretty great deal, coming with all those things. And yeah, it served me well as my main motherboard for about 6 months with a 6-core 12-thread Xeon. This is our next thing. This motherboard, right, is a motherboard that I painted, which you can check out. Pretty old video, it's not the best, but if you want some more info on this board, you can check it out. I guess what's really, I pretty much just painted this motherboard because it was very, very blue. can sort of see that in these little areas that I masked off for grounding in the back, but I guess I painted it and it worked, and then it died. So I hung it on my wall, and that's why I'm talking about it. Yeah, it's pretty nice decor. Oh, that motherboard. Forgot about that one, which is still hanging on my wall. I was like, oh, I need to use this in the video, and then I totally forgot about it, but thankfully I thought of it, and I will talk about it later because it's pretty interesting. But yeah, this one I bought off of eBay for I think like 30 bucks. Came with a CPU, and I kind of used it as a Minecraft server for a little while. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. After it died, I used the CPU in a build that I sold, so I made a little bit of money with the part that was included in here. But other than that, if you want to see more with this board, go watch the video. Other than that, not too big of a thing. Now this right here, this one whole thing. MacBook Air, although clearly seen better days. I don't have the motherboard or anything. This is all I have left. The 3 parts of the unibody aluminum chassis, which I feel like kind of defeats, like, isn't unibody like a single piece? I mean, I get like you can't really have a single piece, especially since it like, you know, moves and stuff, and you gotta put stuff in, but it doesn't feel like unibody to me. I mean, it's fine, honestly. I don't know, there's that. There's also this Mac Mini casing outer shell. Got this iPod Touch outer shell, and this iPhone with the screen ripped off of it. Now we can talk about the we're gonna talk about the Mac and the iPod and iPhone later. We'll just start off by talking about this and then sort of the whole thing with them, right? So this was a family computer, and I think it broke. I think there was an issue with the charger, and decided to just get a new laptop because it was pretty old anyway. So I got my hands on it, and oh look, I got cut by it. Fun times. But I got my hands on it, tore it down, had a look inside, and I kept the casing. I sort of like, since I have so many of these Apple products, I like go around like, yeah, I'm a psychotic murderer of Apple products. That's stupid, but it's kind of funny to be like, I have all these like dead Apple products. That's how much I hate Apple. And to be fair, I'm not like a super hardcore Apple hater. I'm pretty against them, but I can see that they do have some merits, especially for a certain type of people, that they are definitely better products for some people. They just, not for me. Definitely not for me. And yeah. That's sort of the joke with these. This one is probably the least interesting out of all of those. I will get to the rest later because they all do have some stories behind it. But yeah, let's move on. What next? This hard drive here. Western Digital Caviar 32500. I'll give you a closer look. It's probably out of focus up this close, but yeah, so this essentially hard drive, you can see this wire on it. I was gonna hang it on my wall, which I still plan to do. I also have, I don't know where it currently is, but I do have a different Western Digital Caviar hard drive. It's black. This one is from July 1996. The other one is from, I think, 1993, which is older and probably a little cooler, but I sort of took it off because I was like, the plan is to have, this one has a cooler retro look, I think. The other one was pretty simple in its design and branding, but I was going to take off the top and sort of hang it with the platters exposed, right? That was the plan, so I don't really have the cover. The cover for that isn't as interesting. But yeah, this hard drive is 2.5 gigabytes, the whole thing, and the one from, I think, 92 is 85 megabytes, which is crazy difference even just between that. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty cool old drive that I found in pretty good condition. I did kind of puncture the label so I could open it up and look inside, but we are not going to talk about that. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. What should I talk about next? Talk about this dinky old radiator. Nothing interesting about the radiator itself, but it was used in a project that I did for a friend. You might know about this if you watched the Vegas 64 teardown video on my channel. He gave me his Vega 64 to modify to work with the AIO. This is the radiator from that AIO. It did not go very simply. I was planning to make a video about the mod, right? Because, you know, I think Gamers Nexus did one. I mean, it was like, it's not impossible. We were originally just trying to find him a cooler to buy because his fans were way too loud. We were looking at the Morpheus cooler from, I think, Radiator, but it was completely out of stock. We couldn't find it anywhere. So I was like, hey, I'll make a cool video modifying your cooler to be water cooled. It'll only be like $50 because this cooler was only $50. And so I did the mod. I cut up the shroud with my Dremel. I used some bolts to sort of attach the cooler on. I tried really hard to get it right, and also because it had fragile HBM on it, because it's a Vega card. I was able to get it working for me, but I think it was just so barely working, and it just had like, I don't know. I think that I don't really know what was going on. Could have been a clearance issue, could have been that the die was not tall enough, but it started like just, the fan just started spinning at max speed when I gave it to him, because, you know, I tested it worked, but when I gave it to him, the fan started spinning at full max speed, and I don't think it would boot either. No, I think it was just, well, I can't quite, yeah, no, it wouldn't boot. It would just sort of like stop and start. I mean, I think it had it working for a while, but it just completely stopped working. And yeah, so I'm assuming that the cooler lost contact. I tried to get him to tighten it to see if that would work, but also you don't want to over tighten it, it'll crack the die, right? Because there's no IHS on these, which is really annoying. They should put IHSs on graphics cards, but I guess they don't, since you don't get your own custom cooler, there's no point really. But yeah, so it didn't end up working. I took it back, took it off, put the original cooler back, worked fine, and for some reason solved the issue with made the cards a lot quieter for no reason somehow. I don't know why, but it was, yeah, quieter even with the same fan and heatsink as it was originally. I just kind of had some cuts in it now, and it was pretty janky. So yeah, I kind of ruined his graphics card, but made it quieter, so he was cool. And I kept the water cooler, right? So yeah, it's just a radiator now. Could maybe do a project with this or something, but yeah, interesting story behind that one. What should we talk about next? I think we should talk about CPU here. Got the IHS here, and we have the lidding tool that I used. Hopefully you guys can see this well with like trying to hold 4 things with 2 hands. But yeah, the CPU and this delidding tool, this was 3D printed. I got a 3D printed at my school because my science teacher in 8th grade, so long ago, had a 3D printer. You can request things to get printed for free, which is really nice. So yeah, I got this 3D printed. The CPU is Intel Core i5 4450, so it's honestly not that terrible of a CPU. Would have done well in a budget build, but I never had a motherboard for it, nor could I find one cheaply, I guess. I mean, I haven't been looking all the time or anything, but I pretty much didn't have a use for it. It came out of a really crappy pre-built with a motherboard that wasn't working, and I honestly didn't 100% know if the CPU was even working because I couldn't test it because the motherboard was broken. I mean, maybe the motherboard worked fine, the CPU didn't. I don't think so, but yeah. But so essentially, this is a test dummy for this delidding tool. The only other CPU I've used with this delidding tool, it was my Pentium G4400, which I sold off a while ago. I made a video about that a long time ago. It was pretty good for the time, but still sucks, old video. If you want to go check that out, I'll also leave it in the description. Shows how I delidded that CPU. So yeah, I mean, this has pretty much just been a souvenir. Honestly, I could, you know, like the CPU keychains, I could like put a little hole in it. Be a pretty nice keychain, especially since it's like a die. You know, most people just have the IHS. I think that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, so that's it for that. I've only got a few things left. Let's go with this. This is a Xbox 360 hard drive with duct tape on it, and it kind of rattles around. Still works fine. But yeah, the story behind this, right? So this is my old Xbox 360. This is the first and last console I ever owned. Never owned Nintendo. Parents were not really that big on video games, so pretty much this and mobile gaming were my childhood for games, you know, and Minecraft leading that pack. I started on mobile in I think like 2011, 2012, and eventually moved mostly playing Minecraft on the Xbox until I got a PC. And I think while I was playing it on Xbox, I had a really cool world with my friends. It was like creative. We just built so much stuff. It was, I mean, maybe not by like what, you know, cool people on YouTube can do. Like, it's nothing like special, like nothing like on any of those crazy viral world tours of people who go around, oh man, I spent like 10,000 hours on my survival world, but it's really the only Minecraft world that I ever, despite Minecraft being such a huge part of my childhood, I didn't really ever have any worlds that I kept for a really long time, you know? I mostly just occasionally played survival, creative, or on servers, or modded once I got on, like, you know, PC. And so, I mean, this was really, I wanted to recover this, right? And so, issue was I had formatted the hard drive on the Xbox. So I tried to do data recovery, couldn't find it. That's why I have it up here. That's why I took it apart. That's why I ducted it together. Honestly though, the SATA connectors are right here. I didn't need to take it apart. I'm kind of dumb. I just wanted to kind of see what it was. But yeah, so world's lost. It's kind of sad. I could try again. Maybe it was the software couldn't find the proper file extensions. But yeah, it's kind of a shame that I lost that history. But, you know, we move on. Just as I moved on from Minecraft itself and into, you know, wider games than computers. Yeah, I used to have a Minecraft YouTube channel. It's pretty bad. Got like 10 subscribers. Oh man. I'm kind of sad I deleted it though. It would be funny to go back and look at it. But anyways, yeah, that's besides the point. What do we do next? iPod. It's probably not that interesting. This old iPod. This is just the shell, obviously. I think I didn't maybe throw away everything else on all of these immediately, but they ended up getting thrown away eventually, and you know, I've kept the shells because the shell is like, yeah, this is definitely, you know what this is with a shell. With a motherboard, it'd be like, just be a random motherboard. But yeah, I mean, it's not super special in itself, the iPod, but you know, there's something I think my grandmother gave this to me. It was her old iPod, and then I used it for a while, gave it to my sister. She stopped using it after a while. I think I got it back to use as like a secondary device for watching YouTube late at night when my parents didn't want me to. And then it kind of went lost for a while because everybody had better things to use. And then found it again, decided, hey, we'll take this apart. And now we have this. So yeah, that's pretty much the story with this one. Not honestly that interesting. I mean, probably should have gone with the MacBook, but yeah. Going to the next Apple product. Now this is a victim of my stupidity and in my early days of PC building. I really hope my parents are not watching this. If they are, probably still gonna be mad at me, even though it was years ago. Kind of broke this. I mean, they already knew that, but they didn't know how I broke it. How I broke it was really, really stupid. Anyways, this was like the family computer as well. And I used it to play my Minecraft and make my Minecraft videos back in the day. But once I started getting into technology, I was like, yo, I want to like check this out. So I opened up the top, right? And, you know, I see inside. And me, you know, like I was new to tech. I didn't really know what I was doing. You know, I never built a PC before. It took me about a year after I sort of learned about that stuff to actually build my first PC. But, you know, things like putting in the CPU still scared me. But I was like, yeah, I'm fine with running a PC without the side panel on. I'm not dumb. I'm cool, right? I know all this stuff. I watched enough YouTube videos. So yeah, I was running it open in the air. And then I was like, okay, so like, it runs badly. And it runs kind of hot. What if we could make it run faster by cooling it down? I was like, I have no water cooling or anything. I don't have any tubes or any heat sinks or anything or any fans that I could use. But then I had a glass of icy water. like, we had like a metal one you could put it on now. And so I'm very smart, as you know. So I was like, what if we put the water in the fan? Like, just drop a little drop into the fan. It'll spin around in the fan, get shot out the back. I did a few drops. I was like, boop, boop. And it seemed fine. Putting water into a running computer, and then it stopped working, of course. Makes complete sense. Why? But yeah, so I ruined this, broke it, and then it was broken, never worked again, so took it apart. Now I have it. Yeah, oh god, that was embarrassing, but you know, we all do stupid things sometimes. Now this one is another interesting one. I never owned this device though. This is something that I found in this condition. This was when I was in Vancouver for LTX, if you want to go watch the video about that. It's kind of cool, I got some footage, talked about it. It wasn't, you know, my best. I could definitely make a better vlog next time. I found this outside under a pretty tall building. It's just lying there like this. Glass was shattered, but I didn't see any other pieces. It seemed pretty clean, all things considered. I can't exactly know what happened to it, but it didn't have a SIM card in it. I mean, I guess either somebody took the SIM card, because I mean, I guess you could maybe try and use that in your own phone, right? But I'm not 100% sure why there's no SIM card. It's definitely not working. Doesn't have a SIM card in it, so I'm like, might as well take it. It's an interesting souvenir, you know? Either somebody dropped and broke their phone really, really badly, and then somebody stole the SIM card, or somebody was like, this is my old phone, I'm gonna throw it off the top of my building, but they took the SIM card out before because they were just kind of throwing it away because they're like, yeah, drop test, throw it off the building. I don't know. I mean, people do that on YouTube. Who knows? Somebody could have done it just in Vancouver, just throwing it off a building. But yeah, it's a very interesting little piece that I've collected. And yeah, that's it for the story. Speaking of LTX, this is one of the last items that we have on the table, I think. Yeah, I think this is it, and then we got that motherboard on the wall, right? This is my RGB hard drive, which if you want to see how I made that, it's pretty rough, right? I mean, even now it's a little dusty. Give it a brushed finish because the paint job was so bad to try and mask it, and it's okay. It's really haphazardly glued together. The back looks a lot worse, but yeah, it was a cool video. I started off my channel, that's why it really means a lot to me. I don't really have much else to tell. I guess I could tell how I got the hard drive. My friend had an old PC. It was like 10 years old. Had a bunch of viruses and crap on it. He gave me the hard drive from it. I cleaned it off and it was sort of working, but I was having some issues. So I was like, hard drive was having some issues. I mean, it still sort of works. So I was like, okay, this is a good candidate to make an RGB hard drive because nobody's made an RGB hard drive before. So I might as well make one, right? So yeah, I did that because I mean, I could still test and see if it had the same functionality, but I didn't have to worry about breaking a 1 terabyte hard drive that was, you know, working, obviously. But yeah, also this right here, Linus's signature. It's kind of a lame signature, Linus, but sure. That's how you like to do things, you know? I mean, you'd have to, I can't really tell what it is, and you'd have to tell somebody this is Linus' signature for them to realize, like, all right, you know, I mean, it's not my place to judge, but, you know, it's really cool that he signed this, really cool that I met him, and this is sort of my reminder that I should put the hard drive back on the back, because it's not looking so hot. But, yeah, it's pretty cool. Last piece of tech. Motherboard that I have hanging on my wall, which is pretty nice looking motherboard, but it's obviously broken. That's why I have it hanging on my wall. Just take it out. All right. Oh, well, this is fun. I didn't know that. I forgot that was like that. I need to find the pin for that. But here's this motherboard. It's a Gigabyte G1 Gaming 5 or something, Z170 motherboard, I think. Now this, well, second technically. I had two of these, right? I had this, and I'll put a picture on the screen. Was I think Ultra Durable 3 Z170 Gigabyte motherboard as well. I bought them both off eBay. They were both broken when I bought them. I knew that. I didn't get scammed. If I got scammed, I would return them. Because eBay, and you know, if you got scammed that hard, I mean, eBay will let you return it. But they had bent pins in the socket, right? And that was the point where I was maybe like 8 months more, maybe, into the hobby. And so, you know, I knew about bent pins, obviously. And I'd watch some videos, people fixing them, right? And I was like, hey, this motherboard, 30 bucks. Other motherboard, 20 bucks, right? And back in the day, I think Z370 hadn't come out yet, so it was just Z170, Z270. It was a generation old motherboard, 20 bucks, just some bent pins. Yeah, I'll just take a razor and needle and fix up all the pins. It'd be difficult, and then I can resell it or use it or whatever, right? This would be a great way to make some money. Like, man, this is so lucrative just because, like, fixing bent pins is really hard. But I know how to do it because I watch YouTube videos, right? And motherboards arrive, and I don't know if you can see how well you can see this, right? But that's a lot of bent pins. And there's some pins that are not bent. They're gone. You can't fix that. Even if I went through the painstaking process of fixing like the 50 pins in the motherboard that were bent, 50, 100 pins that were bent, there were still some that were gone, and it was never gonna work. So I bought one, and then I bought another one because I was like, this is so lucrative, I gotta buy another one. This was the second one. First one I got, and I realized I couldn't fix it. I was like, damn. So yeah, I spent like 50 bucks on these two motherboards that pretty much just duds to hang on the wall, but the other one I ended up salvaging for parts, and it got kind of broken, I threw it away. Which is sad, you know. The original would be nice to keep, but you know, there's certain things that we do keep in life, and you know, this one looks pretty cool, got some nice red accents, but you know, I mean, it's a cool trophy, cool thing to hang on the wall, you know. Like, not many people just have an extra motherboard lying around they can hang on the wall. And you know, it was, you know, part of my early quest to be able to afford to build a PC, you know. I was like, gotta make some money, I gotta find a way. And you know, I didn't end up really finding a way to make a ton of cash so I could build my dream PC back then. You know, I ended up doing it pretty slowly. Got some pretty crappy parts, but you know, it was a cool, interesting experience. And you know, it's just a nice thing to hang on the wall. So yeah, that's about it. I try to look for more things. I've either sold them if they worked and were able to build a cool PC, or they're just not really worth talking about. So that's pretty much my my collection of hardware knickknacks. Most of them are broken. I guess the Xbox hard drive works. The Radiator still works as a radiator. I took apart the AIO. So, CPU might work, but yeah, most of it's dead and I don't really have a use for it. And as I said, if you did enjoy this video and you're here, you know, I mean, if you're here, you probably enjoyed the video. Most people don't watch this long of a video if they don't enjoy it. But if you are, consider supporting, subscribing, liking the video. It really takes only 5 seconds and it makes a hell of a difference for the video. Oh wait, I forgot I was gonna use the liking the video to see if you guys wanna see another video like this, but about my actual PC. But whatever, you like the video anyways because likes are good. But yeah, anyways, sorry for that shameless self-promotion. But I mean, anyways, if you are here, I mean, you're here for a reason, might as well. But anyways, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.